The Marketing Futurist Podcast, episode number 2, Mind-Blowing Inspiration to Create and Innovate. This is your Futurist Advantage.
Welcome to the Marketing Futurist Podcast, where your hosts, Mary Catherine Johnson and Kelly Garrett, chat with innovators who are keeping the human in marketing while driving the future of tech to give all of us a futurist advantage.
You know who I am, you know who Kelly is, and hey, you better know who that guy is on the screen. We have with us Andrew Warner, the CEO of Mixergy and also Bot Academy. How you doing, Andrew?
Doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Hello.
Yeah, we couldn't have a Futurist Summit and talk about bots or anything else in the future without you, because you have been instrumental in both Kelly's and my life. So here we are. Just for the rest of the audience, give us a quick little background and understanding of your current company and kind of what got you here.
Sure. You know what? I'll do 3 things about 3 different companies. When I graduated from school, I got excited about email marketing. So I started an email company that had over 20 million email addresses, did over 30 million in sales, and then we sold it in pieces. After that, I started Mixergy, where I got excited about interviewing entrepreneurs about how they built their businesses, and the company's still running. It's been almost 10 years now. And as a resident of San Francisco, I can't help but see lots of interesting ideas, and I invested in a few of them. And one of them was this company that ended up doing one of the first chatbots ever on Facebook. In fact, when Mark Zuckerberg announced that chatbots were coming to the Messenger platform, these guys created the software that Mark Zuckerberg showed off, and he said, "I love this." And so I said, "This is interesting," and that led me to get more involved in creating chatbots as marketing tools. And that's what led me to Bot Academy, where anyone can learn how to create a chatbot.
All right. So, yeah, we know about Bot Academy. We know about the amazing companies in Mixergy. And thank you. Now the dog has calmed down. So, all right. So bring us through to that. It's kind of like the life events that you talked about and the email marketing and all of those kinds of things. How do you look at those companies, and especially now Bot Academy, and look to the future and think about how you are impacting, or how you can use this tool to impact the future of your business and the students that you're turning out in Bot Academy?
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to piggyback off of that too. Mm-hmm. What was it specifically about chatbots that caught your attention and got you so excited about them? Because you were the first person that I knew that was into that. I learned about them from you.
You know what it was is I saw it was the company that I invested in is called Assist, and Shane Mack, the founder, loves to bring people into his office to talk to his team. And he said, Andrew, you've done over 1,500 interviews on Mixergy with entrepreneurs. Come on in here and tell us as a team what you've learned from those interviews. And I sat there and I told him about how the entrepreneurs who seemed to have like the surest path to success found a problem. And he said, "That's interesting. How do we apply that here?" And I said, it's really cool what you guys are building, and I think it's the future of chat, that you guys are building these experiences which are like apps. I could talk to a chatbot and the chatbot responds back, and it could bring up these images, and it could be like a full service. The bot I was most excited about was the 800 Flowers bot that he created. You just get to go in. This was the first chatbot that I ever played with. I could actually say, "My wife is having a birthday." The bot would say, "Great, what can I help you with?" And I'd say, "I need flowers." And the bot would then recommend flowers based on some things that I said about my wife. And then I could click a button or tap a button on my phone and start to order it and pay for it on my phone. I said, "That is amazing." I said, "But that doesn't really yet solve a problem for me." And as we were talking about it, I said, what really solves a problem for me? As a business owner, email is really tough. It's tough to reach people via email. We're constantly trying to come up with, I feel like a little kid sometimes. If I could come up with the best headline and just change this word or that word, then maybe more people are going to open up my email. And I said, if you could solve that, if this is another path into people's worlds, that would really be exciting. And that's what got me thinking about it for marketing. And he's shifted to doing more marketing via Messenger and other chat apps than he had before. But I think we need to start shifting to where Shane was when he started. I think marketing is the foot in the door. Marketing is how we start to reach people. We create landing pages, we create lead magnets, we create one buttons to get people to subscribe. We welcome the subscribers in chat with the right messages. We keep them engaged by coming back to them day in and day out or week in and week out. But at some point we have to go beyond what's in email. And the challenge for us marketers is, can we create a richer experience inside a messenger than we ever could in email? And one example of someone who's doing that well is Uber. Uber partnered up with Facebook before Messenger platform allowed chatbots. And what Uber will do is they won't say, oh, they won't like have you talk back and forth with their bot and have you say, I want to go home. And the bot will say, okay, we'll send a person back in an hour, but where's your home? And you type back the address. No, they'll actually bring up a big map. And you get to see where their drivers are. And then you get to select using buttons which kind of car you want. Is it an XL? Is it a regular? Is it a black car, et cetera? That's a full, rich experience that they could do inside of Messenger. And because they know me for sure, because Facebook authenticates who I am, they don't have to ask me to create an account. They don't have to ask me for all the stuff that they would need about me. They don't even have to ask me for location because Facebook Messenger has that. So we get in the door, I think, using marketing. But we have to get past marketing and start thinking about where's the richer, deeper experience. Now, is that today? No, I don't even think that's going to be in 2018, but 2019 for sure. And so we have to get into that as fast as possible.
So do you think Facebook had designed this experience for big brands, or did they have the little marketers in mind? You know, what is their goal around all of it?
I think Facebook had this woman in mind who I met when I spoke at an event not too far from here. She and I were talking and she kept shaking her hand like this. And I said, why are you shaking your hand? She said, well, I'm doing a lot of customer support. And I said, why customer support? Why is that causing your hand to go? She says, well, I have to do it on my phone. I said, well, why your phone? Who are you talking to? And she said she creates this app, this iOS app that lets people organize their photos online. And a lot of her customer service, in fact, most of it is done via direct messages on Instagram. And I realized, interesting. And she said, and you should tell Instagram to create a chatbot because I hate answering the same questions over and over. She's a small business owner. She's doing what? 10,000? I don't know what her specific numbers are. She's a small business owner who needs to talk to her customers. In the past, long time ago, that would have been done by phone or in person. Then it went on to email. Now it's on tools like Intercom on your website, those little bubbles that you could bring up. I think Facebook wants that in their platform. I think if you want to talk to a business, they would rather you not call, but message in. If I want to know if Papa Lotte can take an order from me, or if Papa Lotte is going to be open later today, or if Papa Lotte, my favorite burrito place here in San Francisco, has chorizo burritos, I shouldn't have to call them up and they still will put you on hold and they'll have the because they can't take two calls at the same time. They shouldn't have to do that. It would be better if it would all happen via Messenger. And that's true for businesses up and down the spectrum. I think that's what Facebook is looking for. They're not looking for us to use this as another marketing channel so much as they are for another way for us to really talk to our customers. But this is the entry point.
Because they're pretty much engagement focused. That's their whole platform. It's their whole mission is engagement. So that's what I hear you saying is one.
Yeah, I see people. I ask every time I speak, or often when I speak, how do you talk with the people that you love? And iMessage, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger come up over and over again.
Yeah.
So this is the way that we're communicating with people we love. Facebook would like us to communicate with businesses too.
Yeah. And what do you see as some of the obstacles to that, though? So you say maybe not 2018, probably 2019 that might be coming. What are some of the obstacles we have to overcome to get there?
I think if we're talking about the future, some of the obstacles are that the tools aren't yet built for it. That I know that I can use ManyChat to create a marketing automation inside of Facebook Messenger. I know that there are tools that will let me do that will let me talk to people via bubbles. I was checking out FlowXO recently. It lets you do customer service inside of Facebook Messenger, and the messages will go to your email if you wanted to, and so on. But I don't know how I could create a real rich experience yet. And I don't even know if it's going to be the tools that we're using. I don't know if it's going to be the ones that we're using now for marketing automation that are going to allow us to create full apps. And I'm wondering, how do we do it both? How do we allow ourselves to have this new future and still keep what we have now?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
But you know what? Actually, here's the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is internally. Some of us are going to be so good at marketing. We're going to have a big messenger list, and we're going to be really good at getting people from that list to go and buy from us. And we're going to be really good at just plowing this one field over and over. And then we won't notice that there are a few people who just seem like punks on the side who are creating these like app-like experience inside of Messenger. And we'll think, those people really don't get it, because all they do is they create good experiences, but they're not making any money. They're not selling. And we keep going deeper and deeper in our path without noticing that they are actually creating richer and richer experiences that do eventually take over what we're doing. I think we have to be aware of it. I think the same thing's happening today with email marketers. Some of these guys have the best email systems, the drip campaigns with the tags and everything set up, and they just keep growing it. And their whole goal in life is, how do I get more traffic, to get more email addresses, to get more of them to look at my emails, to get more of them to convert, and they're not paying attention to Messenger because they've got this path that's working for them. And so I don't want that to happen to us. I think that's the biggest challenge.
But that's kind of what you help us do as well, is you're keeping your finger on that pulse, and you are in that world with some of these companies like ManyChat and obviously in Facebook. And so you're helping us understand what's coming next. And I agree. The other interviews that we've been doing, Kelly and I, have been saying that same thing. We can definitely embrace this new tool, this new idea, this new way of communicating, but we also have to keep our ear to the ground of what's next and how it's evolving and what it's becoming. So with that in mind, how can we as marketers make sure that we do that? Obviously by following someone like you, but what can we look at in how we're using this tool and how we can start adapting it? If I'm not a JSON programmer or any other kind of programmer, what can I do?
On Mixergy, whenever I do an interview with a software entrepreneur, like a Y Combinator person, all the other software entrepreneurs love it. But whenever I do an interview with an entrepreneur who's doing direct marketing via email, the software entrepreneurs kind of are a little disgusted by me. They're embarrassed on my behalf. If I go out for drinks with them, they're a little embarrassed that it's like, what happened to you that you went into that other world? And if you ask yourself, why did these guys miss messenger marketing? Why is it that the Y Combinator companies didn't get it? Why is it that the big funded companies didn't get it? It's because they're disgusted by the direct marketing world. And I think,
True.
I mean, if you think about the one software that did get funding outside of Silicon Valley, it's ManyChat. Yeah, he got 500 startups as a backer, but where did he go? Because he was here. I saw him here in San Francisco, and he was trying to raise money from people, and he couldn't raise money in San Francisco. So where did he go? He went to Russia. There's some Russians who are now on his cap table who are investing in him. I was a little scared when he told me he was going to go to Russia. I said he's going to get some random oligarch to invest because he's so desperate. So if you want to know why they missed out on this, on messenger marketing, even though it seems so obvious today, it's because they're disgusted by this world and they're disconnected from it. I think we can't let the marketers can't let the same thing happen to them. We can't feel alienated or unworthy or disconnected from these software people. We now are in a position where they're admiring what we're doing, where they're curious about it. And I know you both have been contacted now by Chatfuel, for example, that is recognizing the value and they want to talk to you. We have to recognize that they need to talk to us. They want to learn how to do direct marketing. That's our opening to do services for them and get paid or build relationships. And also to, frankly, I pump them for information. What are you guys seeing that's coming out? What do you think that this could be? Where's the future of this? Let them go and do their vision thing for a little bit and talk to you and just tell you where they see the future and have that opening, because we're going to miss it if we don't open ourselves to it. And that's one of the reasons why I have a big calendar of events, lots of stuff always going on, but I try to do Scotch night. I try to go to dinner with people. I try to spend time just getting to know what they're doing. And it's easier here in San Francisco, but frankly, a lot of my conversations now are shifting to phone calls because I don't have that much time to talk to people one-on-one, and I get a lot done over the phone. So if you're asking me, what can we do to stay ahead? It's that, to recognize that we have the power right now in this space because they don't know marketing via chat, and we do. We could bring it to them and do the work for them, and we could also use it as an opportunity to tell them what we know and learn and just keep learning from them.
So why are marketers missing the boat? I can understand other businesses that aren't super familiar with email marketing in general, because I feel like this is a natural extension of email marketing. But why is it, do you think, that marketers that are here doing the same thing that we're doing are some of them are very, not interested in trying it out?
I think a lot of it is just working for them. What's happening for them is working. I actually think it's moving pretty fast. It feels slow because we get it, and why isn't anyone else on it? But it's happening fairly fast. I'd like it to happen faster, but it's happening fairly fast. What it'll probably take for this to really take off is some big crisis somewhere else that forces people to look around. We don't, whether it's in our personal lives or in our business, we don't look for new things, new ideas, new approaches until there's a crisis. So just the other day, I got a message from someone on our team who buys Facebook ads, Sachin, and he said, check this out. Facebook is apparently splitting the feed. So what's splitting the feed? He sent me a link and he sent me quotes from the link, and he said, Facebook is already saying that any page's content will get out of the main feed and go into an other feed. So if you want to see messages from your friends and see sponsored posts or from your groups, those three things will be in your main feed. If you want to see posts from the pages that you've hit like on, that's going to be in the other feed unless they pay to go into the main feed. And I said, so what are you doing, and what are other people like you who are buying ads doing? Because now you've got to compete with more businesses to buy that little bit of space that's permitted for businesses. And he said, check out the link I sent you. So I checked out the link again. And at the bottom of the link that he sent me, the guy said, I'm going to do chatbots. I said, Sachin, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to get my clients all into chatbots. I said, why? Why are you both now going into chatbots? He said, well, the only way to reach people organically and not have to pay and not have to battle everyone else is by having the people we're working with become subscribers of our chatbots. Now, Facebook has since come out with, on their newsroom, a post saying we don't think we're going to do this. This isn't the direction we're going in. So maybe that isn't the thing. Maybe that isn't the big crisis that sends people to chatbots. But in a crisis for marketers, in a crisis for reaching your audience, this is going to, that's when people are going to come in bulk. Until then, there isn't going to be this huge bulk. If you think about even social media, what was it that got people really excited about Twitter as a medium, right? It was the crisis of the Arab Spring, and that's kind of what allowed Twitter to define who they were and get them into the news, because this is where you were reaching, where you were hearing from people in the Middle East. You need something like that, a crisis that tells people, hey, stop looking at the day-to-day stuff because that's not working. You need something new, and then they're going to look around and see this. And the people who've established themselves and their reputations and their experience are the ones who are going to benefit from it.
Wow. And what I hear you saying in that as well, or what we could extrapolate from that, is that we can bring people from other platforms into our chatbots. We don't have to only stay, let's say, advertising on Facebook. If we have a website still, and I know many people that I've talked to are talking about the fact that the websites are going to go away sometime in the future because they can all be housed in a chatbot or in our Facebook presence, so to speak. But we can bring people from other platforms into our chatbot and have them in our world that way, and get around the idea that we don't have to always pay Facebook for it. How do you see this evolving in the way of general business, not just with chatbots and the enriched experience, but in businesses representing themselves this way? Do you see it changing at all?
What do you mean by that?
Like websites, and instead of sending people to a website to find out more about us, then bringing them into our chatbot or into our messaging experience as a way of finding out about us. Do you see that happening at all?
I think so. I think that the problem with websites is that they're not sticky. You get someone to come over to your website once, and chances are good that they're not going to come back again. And that's why every website you see now has that big box that says, enter your email address in order to, right? You spend so much money, so much time getting somebody to come in. Even if you found the perfect article, you broke news, people come to your site. they're not going to come back again. They're going to think, well, Twitter gave me this link. That's where I'm going to go next time I want to see the next big thing. And so the problem with websites is they don't have that stickiness. We've been forcing stickiness on it. And I can't say that I blame people who are younger, who don't have the baggage of saying that the web is the only place to go, and who said instead, I'm going to create a page on Instagram or on YouTube where there is a stickiness, where there's an easy way for someone to subscribe and I keep coming back in their world. And chat does that very well. Chat, I think, does that super well. And let me say this also, by the way, until this crisis comes, going back to the previous question, I think even when people say no, we are actually telling them that we're there, and that's a positive. For, I would say, 2 or 3 years, when Guy Kawasaki was really hot as the former Apple evangelist who wrote a bunch of hit books in business and was hard to get a hold of, I remember asking him, my friend is organizing an event, would you come and speak? And he'd say no. I am doing this, would you come and be a part of it? And he'd say no. I've got it in my inbox, no's from him. But you know what? When he was ready to do an interview and I was ready to have him on, and I emailed him and said, can I have you on Mixergy to do an interview? I hit reply on all those past messages and got a yes from him. And so if I would just come in out of nowhere and say, would you do an interview? It wouldn't be nearly as powerful as I've been communicating with you. I've got the staying power. I think the same thing here. If you say, do you want to create a chatbot, and people say no, and come back and say, do you want to create a chatbot, and they say no, that's not a loss. You're just embedding in their heads that you're the person who does it. I think even Sachin, he's on our team. I showed him chatbots a year ago. And you know what? He didn't want it because he had other stuff going on. Now that he wants it, yesterday he was texting me, who do we talk to on the team? Because I've got this other person who needs a chatbot, and he already had a call with Tam, who leads the Bot Academy course, scheduled for like 5 seconds after Sachin and I got off the call. That's how eager he is to get chatbots now. So I think all those no's, as long as we don't get like bummed out about them and look depressive and look like failures when we're talking to people, they actually help strengthen our reputation with them.
Relationships. Relationship, that's what it's all about. How are those going to change, do you think, in relation to the future and chatbots? Is it going to be easier, let's say, for us to build relationships? Obviously, we think it is with our customers and with other businesses. How is that going to evolve our relationships?
You mean personal relationships?
Mm-hmm.
We use a software called Help Scout to answer customer service. It's fantastic. It's so good for easily responding to people, keeping track of them. But do you know that in order to get, I think the photo of the person's already built in, but we have to have all these plugins into it to know what we bought and what they bought from us before, and then another thing to tell us a little bit about them. And then I go to a site called people.com, people, and type in their email address to get a sense of who they are a little bit more. I just want to get to know this customer so that I could respond to them properly. It's not because I'm spying on them or anything. I have a customer coming in. I want to get a sense of what's your background. Am I responding to your tech problem like a baby and oversimplifying it? Am I responding to it and being too I need to know a little bit about you. I need some context in order to respond to you. And since I can't do that, I try all these plugins and I do my best. I think with chat, you have that built in, especially this is an advantage that Facebook has over the other chat platforms, including WhatsApp. I get to see who they are. So if I go into my chat on my company's Facebook page and our company's Messenger account, I get to see people's photos, which often tell me a little bit about them. I get to see their location. I get to click over and get a sense of where they are in the world, what they're doing, what other stuff they found interesting. That's a tremendous help. That really helps a lot.
Definitely. I agree. All of that information being available, do you see any difficulties with that? Any pitfalls in that respect as well, with all of this information that is coming in via chat? Anything we have to watch out for, or anything that bugs you about that?
Yeah, here's the thing that does bug me. There are a few things that bug me. We used to have a chat on our site that would answer questions on our sales pages. You have a question? Ari's there to answer it. If I did it, get a lot of responses. If David, who set us up with that, did it. He got great responses. When Ari took it over, we said, great, Ari, you're new here. You're looking to understand the customers. We're going to set you up with a chat. This will pop up. You'll answer questions. It'll be great for business, and it's going to be good for you. She was hit on so much. Oh, no. Yeah, a whole other experience. When I first heard that it wasn't working, I said, you guys aren't doing it right. So I went in and I helped. And then it still wasn't working. I said, you aren't doing it right. And it still wasn't working. And then I finally looked at the chat logs and I realized, oh, there's a whole other issue here. And that is a problem that when we know each other, I think that prejudices, I think that the issues like sexism do come up, and it's really frustrating. And I wonder, like my assistant, when she jumps into the Facebook group, I don't tag her sometimes thinking, well, do I really want to bring her personal Facebook profile into this public Facebook group just so she can respond to something? I'd like to say, hey, Andrea, here, just at Andrea, can you check out this issue? And I can't, because I don't know what I'm bringing into her world. And that is an issue for me. That's one of the reasons why I'm disappointed that LinkedIn never took off. A lot of these business interactions I wish happened on LinkedIn. We still get all the profile. We still get a lot of the communication ability. But we get the personal life out, and LinkedIn unfortunately dropped the ball on that. So yeah, that is a huge problem that I worry about a lot.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because it seems like we've gone on this evolution of, business used to be very, not cold, but, lack of personal things to it. And then Facebook and social media brought all that here. And then now it's almost like there's this need to step back a little bit and almost go back to a time when things weren't so personal. For some businesses, for others, it's a huge advantage, but it just kind of depends on where they're at.
Yeah. I wonder if I should start hiding some of my personal stuff on Facebook, and just because I do use it so much for business, it's an issue. So for chatbots, I think that there's a potential problem in that, in the way that we talk to people, but more like the way that we have to be aware that sometimes we jump into a conversation. Our bot will talk, but eventually a human needs to come in and interact. At that point, we need to be aware that the people we're talking to may not be what we're seeing online, or maybe we're bringing in all kinds of prejudice in there. I think we just need to be aware of that. There's a lot of openness there.
Yeah, and I would basically challenge that and say that's the onus is on that person. I would feel bad if I would change the way I communicate because of the possibility that someone might hit on me. Not that they would, but that personal interaction would come into play and actually change the way I communicate, just because it's possible. I would really just keep blocking those people and, say, see ya, and be done, but keep going. When we start making it change the way we, making those few people, because, I don't know, what kind of numbers were there in that? I mean, was it 10%? Was it 50% that were doing more of that communication? Or
it was more than 50% were off topic.
You're kidding me.
I'm not saying
crazy.
Sexist. I'm just saying off topic. Mm-hmm. People stayed on topic with me. They stayed on topic with David. It was just off topic. We're now like chatting up a person, as opposed to it's like, you're here on the page. You clearly hit a sales page with payment on it. There's a reason why you're there, and suddenly you're being distracted by that and you don't care. Frankly, I could even see, even when chatbots are women, people start talking stuff. I don't realize you could see what they say.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep, I've seen a bit of that in mine. Mine is a fictitious robot even, and
it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny what people share in a chatbot. So we're moving on.
My big issue is it's not a huge issue. It's just, I think it's something to be aware of, that I think too much of what we're doing is all up front. Yeah. All in the same place. Yeah.
Positives and negatives, definitely. Yeah, and we'll have to adapt to it, just like we have to adapt to everything. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So, in general, I don't know, Kelly, I wanted to ask about a particular tool or tip, but do you have anything else that you'd want to cover in here?
No, I mean, I think you, Andrew, more uniquely than anybody else that we've talked to, and the people that I even know, just have this very different insight. And I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's because you just interview so many people and you're very worldly, but I just feel like your insight and predictions into where this is going feels, to me, just feels like, wow, yep, this is it. This is it. You've really got it. So
Thanks.
I just think that's amazing.
Do you think that's because of your network and so many people that that you are in both the tech and the marketing industries?
It does help tremendously. Yeah, it helps tremendously.
Yeah.
And whether I want to or not, it helps. It helps tremendously. I was going through such a busy week, and there are a few people who, whatever I'm going through, I make time for. You too, whatever I'm going through. You saw my calendar for today, but I also said, here's the full calendar. Whatever time works for you, I could do it. One of the other people is Robert Stevens. He's the founder of Geek Squad, who also is now the co-founder of Assist, that chatbot company. He said, Andrew, I missed one of the latest talks that you gave to Assist. Can I come have lunch with you and talk? And I said, no, I'm so burning out, but I will never say no to him. So I said, come on over. We had this hour-long lunch. And then when I was telling him how our marketing software works, you and I, we're using marketing software that just is second nature to us. He tossed his napkin and everything into his bowl and said, when can we see it? So we come upstairs here. He spends half an hour looking over my shoulder, checking out what's going on with our marketing automation. But I'm at the same time asking him, what are you guys doing with your software? What is Facebook telling you that's coming up? Tell me about what's happening with Google that I now have a reputation with you and everyone else. I'm not going to reveal it. And so they get to just tell me all this stuff, just like they're curious about me. I'm so incredibly curious about them, and they're showing me what's happening. And that's partially why I could see where it's going.
Wow. So with that in mind, I mean, obviously we could talk to you all day long, and we're so honored that you have come and shared this information.
Thanks for having me here.
What kind of, so again, the Futurist Advantage, is there a particular tip or a tool that you can give the people in the audience that they can look forward to and possibly give themselves that advantage to use today, is to become a marketing futurist?
Okay, I'm going to do a couple of small ones, if you don't mind, like real quick, and then I'll do one that's longer and harder. Okay, here are the couple of small ones. Number one, go to botlist.co and look at the chatbots. Do that when you want to spend a long time. When you want a little more focused, so Botlist will have a lot of software, everything from chatbots that are doing well to software to build chatbots. That's like get lost in long term. When you want a little more focus on the chatbots that are exciting the tech community, go to Product Hunt and search for chatbots under their tech section. There you're going to see a more curated list of chatbots with upvotes and comments, and you're going to see what people who are a few like steps ahead of us in the software world are saying about chatbots. And then, so those are the basic things. Just spend some time looking and seeing what's going on and what tools you can use. Here's a more complicated thing that I think a few people are going to really get a lot out of. And even if this is too further ahead for you, just keep it in the back of your mind because this could help you in the future. I went to Entreport's conference to speak about chatbots. This guy who has an amazing business that works all via email. He helps pregnant women know what's coming up with their babies and where they are. And so a pregnant woman would go to his site, type in her due date, and as a result, every week he'd send her an email. He and his wife send her an email saying, here's where your baby is, here's what you need. Phenomenal business. He said, I don't want to screw this up to get into chatbots. I know exactly what, like, the whole system's working. What do I do? And we sat there and we came up with something. He doesn't want to have a chat software kind of be the brains of when to send out email and his email software be the brains and not know what. So what we realized was when someone signs up, immediately their email address and their chat number should be connected in his CRM, which happens to be Entreport. And then Entreport will say via Zap, send out this message at this month. So if the pregnant mother to be goes to a site and adjusts her date, that changes in Entreport, and it's Entreport that via tags decides what to send out via chatbot. So basically you're avoiding the whole chatbot software for everything except for creation of content, and it's your CRM that's triggering the content that goes out. And that little thing is making a world of difference. So use Zapier and tags to send out the messages.
You can
it's a little bit hard to explain I'd love to just show you guys on video, but
I know, I totally know exactly what you're talking about because I was at the Converted conference recently too, and Drip does the same thing. And that's kind of what they're really pushing for Drip to do, is become that sort of centralized database of all your marketing activity and then track it across different platforms and different automations, and having that still control the main automation center. So,
yeah, and then that becomes the mind of it and
Yeah.
sends it out. So for anyone who this is a little too far ahead, here's what I suggest. Any chance that you get any email address from your chat app, also take the messenger ID. Let's suppose you're using ManyChat. ManyChat will via Zapier allow you to send not just an email address, but also the messenger ID. Create a field in your CRM, in the thing that sends out your email, called messenger ID, and just save it for when you need it. You'll need it at some point in the future. You'll want to use it. Just create that field and add content to it, populate it. All right, so we got some basic stuff and a little bit further marketing stuff.
That's awesome.
Like that.
Yeah.
And it's all connected. Everything's talking to everything else and moving everything forward again into the future so that we can, not necessarily follow everyone, but follow everyone. It's kind of what we're saying.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Andrew, again, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
To give us this opportunity is really why Kelly came up with this idea to have this summit and asked me to participate with it. And we are, again, just so honored that you were able to do this with us. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thanks for having me on.
Get your Futurist advantage by joining our Facebook group at marketingfuturist.co/group and tune in for our next journey into the future of marketing.